Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Carry On at Cush, a weekly open mic poetry reading live from the stage at Cush Cafe in Eugene, Oregon. Broadcast live over the internet. If you are on the stage, you are consenting to being broadcast live over the internet on YouTube.com. Thank you. A lot of noise in the room here tonight. Let's all forward our ears to a listening position and do some poetry and stuff. Only place you will have a drum circle and a piano going on at the same time 30 seconds before the show. That's a drum circle and a piano in Eugene, Oregon. All right, well, I'm going to start. How we doing tonight? They're loud and they're proud. All right, I've got a little thing that I worked up with some tunage that I did about 10 years ago with a friend of mine. So here we go. I have no title for this. Long ago, up from the ragged plain, the hero bore his heart to a lady. Carried it in his hands, he did. To the keep on the hill, to the highest tower, to knock on the door, to enter her kingdom, to lay down before her, he did. This was his own, which he performed with quiet honor, with grace, without remorse, and she said, to become that, to be yourself, to rescue me is a holy order knight. Do you love, do you know? He whispered, I know the sound, the texture of light, the smell of killing, but kindness, lady, has long eluded. That have I gone unblessed with, long time gone. The great eagle bears the wind on its wings, moves with force through the liquid sky. The mockingbird repeats his name for all to hear, leaving it none too dear. But these two, woman and man, she says, the hours of insanity I have waited are too long to tell. The days of tepid longing with no target to fix on are my burdens. Unbound me and undress the fabric of my heart, find me within, and he replies, I would carry you, would bear you, would lay myself down to turn that key, would eviscerate my insides to give birth to yours, that which I cannot give, would give gladly, would become eagle, wolf, and terrible dragon to defend that which is yours. And still they lingered, for the muse had not yet made the map for them to follow. Oh no, not yet. Had not opened the door of longing wide enough. Now, give me now, wide enough now. No, not yet. For there was fear, still. There was fear, will always be, fear always is, fear will always be, fear, delicious longing. Whatever gets the crowd fired up, that's what we do here. All right, now are we focused, awesome focus, ears forward, let's get on with the poetry. There's no number 2, so that means number 3 becomes 2. Stephen. Get up here and abuse this stage. Use it like a horse ridden and driven away, putting away wet. Yeah, from the crowd. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can I just say yeah? Yeah.
That was awesome, man. Awesome music, awesome words.
All right.
Let me down a touch. Okay. I have something to say about Ferguson, Missouri.
Thank you.
It just seems to me that we never address the real problems.
All we ever address are the symptoms. It's the same old story of alienation that has plagued our country for so long with no end in sight. It's been 50 years since the Civil Rights Act. It's been over 20 years since the LA riots of 1992 surrounding the Rodney King verdict, the LA Los Angeles riots. We didn't address the problems then, just like we aren't addressing them now. Oh yeah, we will address the symptoms all day long and plaster them on the evening news all night long. People are rioting, looting, burning. That is against the law. That is the problem. Bring in the state police. Bring in the National Guard. These people are lawbreakers and must be stopped. But those are the symptoms. We never address the underlying problems of why. Why are these people rioting and looting? Why is the frustration of people played out in violence on the streets? It is because nothing changes. Inequality and racism are the sick underbelly of our nation, along with perpetual war and gun violence. When the LA riots happened in 1992, I was right smack dab in the middle of them. But that is another story for another time. But I did spend that night, all night long, watching my city burn. And while I did, I wrote a poem. It relates what happened that night, and it relates what is still happening now in our country. The next day, I printed out hundreds of copies of my poem, went down to the Venice Beach boardwalk, and handed them out to people all day long. Will we ever learn? Will we ever evolve as human beings? Here is the poem that I wrote that night. It is called Kings of History. Why do the kings in our country always get hurt? Why is the world still groveling in the dirt searching for justice? It's not a mystery, just another piece of history that the media fuels the flames of for all to see. Buildings continue to burn throughout the city. Prayers for peace call out all around. You wonder, is humanity or justice being served as you watch all over your city burning to the ground? Why do they never listen when you cry out for equality? Lincoln, Lenin, the Kings, and the Kennedys call out through eternity. Why do we always have to sacrifice so much for so little gain? It's about human rights, and it's happening once again. It's not a mystery, just another piece of history that the media fuels the flames of for all to see. It's no mystery that pent-up feelings have taken to the streets, but death and destruction do not bring solution. They only increase the pain of an already open wound. Why do joblessness, homelessness, depression, frustration, and anger seem rampant everywhere, while unjustified murders and beatings go virtually unnoticed in every town square? Why are executions being justified and war glorified, yet no one around you seems to care? It's no wonder that anguish, pain, and alienation are now evidenced and played out on the streets of our nation. Why do the kings in our country always get hurt? It's not a mystery, just another piece of history that the media fuels the flames of for all to see. Buildings continue to burn throughout the city. Prayers for peace call out all around. You wonder, is humanity or justice being served as you watch all over your city burning to the ground?
Woo! Well, one could say that where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
This would be true about America at this time and since its inception. I cannot speak for this room in Eugene, Oregon, nor do I represent any credo or philosophy or group. I, however, on this stage right now, stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters in Ferguson, Missouri, in their attempt to express their constitutional right to assemble peacefully on the street and seek redress from their government for grievances. This is the Constitution of the fucking United States of America, and I'm silly enough to goddamn fucking believe in it. I was in Tompkins Square in the early 90s, and I was at the WTO. I have seen the police state grow and grow and grow. If you don't like it, do something. There's going to come a time when we all need to lay our bodies down. If we all do it together, we win. If we do it sporadically and separately, we lose. That's the truth. Whatever. That's my politics for tonight. I'm very incensed about Ferguson, and I'm trying to balance that with solution. What is the solution? What is the solution? Let us not linger in what is. Let's figure out how to get there where it isn't. All right, moving on. Dan, come on to the stage, Dan. You know, poetry is like life, and it pops up in politics and life all the time. What do you got for us tonight, Dan? Something awesome?
No politics.
All right, good.
That was enough. That was great.
All right.
I'll try to give you a little humor to cool it in. This first piece is called Act 1. He was bitter to the bile, Mr. Barger, bearing down on me like a hungry badger. Me, boy, next meal. Him, licks chops. What did you say? My weak, trying smile. Nothing. Nothing worth hearing out loud, right? Well, next time you have nothing to say, don't say it. Yes, Mr. Barger, I hear a remembered recess bill. To be continued. Okay, this is one I wrote about 6 weeks ago. I read it here once before, but I enjoy it, and I hope you do too. It's called The Lonely Font.
Oh, good. My favorite damn font.
Once there was a font that was difficult to read. It survived because doctors and lawyers preferred it. But this left it lonely and frustrated because it wanted to be artistic. It sought guidance from a font counselor who concluded that it needed a change of venue and a new prescription on life. Carefully, it calligraphied itself into the mind of an unsuspecting poet. The more difficult the poems were to read, the more literary acclaim they received. Times were good then. Unfortunately, the poet died an early death, an overdose of meaningless words. So the font went back to its former job, but kept looking for another poet who needed the right typeface. Okay, my last one. I hope you enjoy it. It's called The Long Ride Poem. Suddenly, I want to get somewhere in this vast metaphorical megalopolis, so I stroll to the corner sidewalk, I stick my hand high and hail, "Poem! I need a poem! Over here!" Several short seconds later, a smooth, sleekly streamlined, shimmering poem slinks sexily to the curb. The back door opens. I get into the most luxurious rear seat I've ever nestled into. The beautiful driver looks back at me and says, "Where to?" I answer, "Anywhere you want." Thank you.
I love the push and pull of this. For every serious moment, there will be whimsy. Whimsy is always a good lover to have in your pocket. Who do we got now? Hashtag Kevin. Come on up here, Kevin. Kevin. There we go. All right. What's he got for us tonight? We've got a service dog in the house. Ow! Nicely played, people. All right, service dog, you're going to do your thing. Okay, be serviceable. All right, here's Kevin. Welcome into the stage.
Go, Kevin! Go, Kevin!
All right.
Poetry dog. Poetry pop!
Danny boy, my story. The cold was getting deep into my bones as the snows were blowing up across my chest. I was about done, but I heard a sound, and so, whoa! And someone appeared out of the blizzard and picked me up. Whoa, whoa, I'm moving. All right, all right. And we went into someplace with light and a little bit of warmth, but we didn't stay. And then back to the cold, and, you know, and into some warm again. And I get thrown. I land on this nice warm bed. Ooh. So I crawl across the blankets and dig out around this here warmth. And crawl in next to me. And when I felt the warmth come across me, yeah, asleep I went. Now I woke up in the morning and, all right. And I said, warm, this is okay. But I need food and water and stuff like that. And so I got to wake this guy up. Doggy kisses. Now me, the human, wakes up and realizes unconditional love. I have to service this. And so I did, and then that's where I picked up the whole concept of service, of doing what I can. So we're out for a walk one day, and I spied this old dog on a porch, and he hadn't been up in a long time, I can tell that. So I crawl up across the sidewalk, right up to the base of the steps, and look that old dog in the eye and give him a woof. Little tiny woof. And the old dog gets up, comes off of the porch. I say, come on, old fella, let's go for a run. And the old dog is just barely moving. So do I. I run in cadence to the old dog. And, thank you. I can keep moving. Around the yard, back to the porch, we had a sniff off. He climbed back up on the porch and settled down. That was nice. And boy, did his human really like it. She was cackling away, and Kevin was cackling away, and all right. I had a little service here. Time to move on. At the dog park one day, a lady came by with an angry dog. And I went up to the angry dog, and up to the angry dog, and up to the angry dog, and finally the angry dog said, fuck it. What are we going to do? So the lady unhooks him and lets him run around the yard, and I show him, introduce him to all the other dogs there. We're barking and running and having a great time. And a couple of days go by, and I'm playing at the park like I usually do, you know. There's a commotion. The dog I mellowed is unmellowed and having a fight. 50 yards away, I come charging. And as I arrive, I do all the calculations, throw myself high into the air, hit them right on their noses. They jump down, hit the ground, do a 180, bark, forget it. Bark, forget it. They forgot it. So that was nice. And so, after, where am I? Right. Oh, right. Well, there's the interim. I'll think of it. And the interim is wherever I go, all I have to do is look up, and people say, what a pretty dog. And then there's this feelings that travel between me and the people and my man. There's a little joy going there. All right, I've served. In fact, I'm in full service. Because in the waiting room at the VA hospital, I look around and I find the sickest person in the room and go up and sit right in front of them until I'm noticed. And then the person gets the joy that I always give with my cute little face. Hey, I know who I am. And they have a little lift, and I'm served again. But one of my best services got the Afghan. And so I went out to the end of my leash in front of a crew of people, you know, trying to get a picture. I just right out to the center. I'm sat down with Mark, Mark, and they all looked at me. Boy, got 2 words left. The people, I should.
What's your dog's name again? I don't remember.
Danny the dog. If you're watching, Danny the dog's down here stealing the spotlight every time. James, get on up here. Two. James here. James here. Let's get this just right for James. Go.
It's gonna get crazy at this movie theater. The wrong theater. We move towards the exit. Then the blades come down. Clearly, this is a boss battle. We all take off our pants. That we are going the wrong room fills with snakes, but not the living kind, the dead kind, that are somehow worse. Lamprey phase into the theater. Well, fuck, guys. This movie sucks. The lamprey eels, they and groins. We paid for this, like $7. A crossover fan film, but it wasn't. This was actually super uncomfortable, flipping and sliding on dead reptiles and screaming puppies. Lampreys like dreadlocks or large, oily, long turds. I'm weaving the dead snakes together, or at least as many as I can carry. An anaconda comes to life, and it's Inception style, puking out smaller and worse snakes. My love, she does a triple starfish backflip, tearing a deep cavern into the floor. We make our way through. As soon as we discover the cavern is full of pollen, not quite so bad, and nothing but opening and closing pages, turning all of us into awful creatures like ferrets and cats and worse still, parakeets! The screechy fucks. I didn't pay to be turned into an amphibian crossover fanfic reject. What has happened to Hollywood? They don't even write stories. They just lock people like us in movie theaters, promising a fun time, only to dose our popcorn with heavy-grade psychotic idyllics. Why, the backdrift is too much. The film is playing now and it's horrid. Clearly, these actors are only getting paid in corn dogs. No, real dogs. Dogs spliced with corn. Corn gone bad. The plot is more so the feeling of dread that comes from having to sit through 6 movies. 6 violent movies. Where stupid people keep putting their hands in pickle jars. Full of brains. But they're tied to a chair. And the key is in the brain. But the brain is melting. And they also have to drink it. We're watching this somehow. Even though there's disembodied mouths eating us. Lampreys in our skin, leeches for eyebrows. This used to be a normal country. Why, I could sneak into a movie and maybe watch the previews, but fuck. How did they know I didn't pay? Even though I did pay. That they were watching all 6 Saw movies. They made us watch all 6 Saw movies, playing at the same time, interspliced with The Lion King and the spin-off show Timon and Pumbaa. Who could have made such a ghastly waste of good storyline? Why did Hercules make Scar into a cape? Is he really that dedicated to Mufasa? What about the Jigsaw Killer? Didn't he die of cancer? And also, why is he fraternizing with the hyenas? They're fucking cartoons! Now I am hungry for popcorn, not dead snakes or lampreys. I am hungry to be human again, not some science experiment. Or is this a fad? Does it even matter? I guess not. So I will sit through this mess until the pig intestines choke me out, snuff my life away, and smash me through to the parking lot, where I can get into my 1983 shitmobile and go home. Vroom, 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 vroom.
Dude. Always a pleasure. Vroom, vroom.
I am hungry was what I took away from that, James.
Hungry for what?
Hungry like a wolf, baby. Yeah, I did do that. I just did do that. Hungry like, yeah. I know. I just said hungry. That's all you get, right? Oh, it could have been an om. Oh. Nice. Okay, Bix, you gotta follow that. Come on. Let's hear it for Bix. Here we all are doing our thing, doing our thing, doing our thing. Here we all are just doing our thing, doing our thing, doing our thing. Okay, how do you do? My highway. I don't want to bore you with return on investment numbers or income inequality disparity. If I go 40 miles per hour in my borrowed electric car, how long will it take to go 80 miles? So roll on, you vapid, crazy proletarian. Information can be power. It's all about the 0 to 60. I see you in your Beamer thinking you're a sleeper at 80 miles an hour.
That's right.
Will I save any exquisite supremium gasoline if I have a flashy digital readout on the dash and I don't wear a hole in my accelerator shoe foot? I can be back in time to fall asleep at the wheel. If 7 days a week were like milk chocolate nipple drops, it would be euphoria instead of this purple traffic purgatory. So much for road rage.
All right.
I feel the same way. We'll all get there at the appropriate time if we just relax. Nipple drops help the trip, yes.
You guys have ice with that?
I'm talking about nipple drops. You got something to say about that?
I just get excited. I can't sit still.
Chocolate. I prefer the Neapolitan nipple drops. You gotta eat the chocolate, then the vanilla, then the strawberry at the end.
I like to do the cherry.
What? Oh no, I like the strawberry the best, so I ate that one last. I get the taste to linger in my mouth.
Don't get the cherry.
No, the chocolate tastes like shit. The vanilla is just vanilla. And, strawberry. This is my editorial on Neapolitan ice cream and nipple drops, because you know that's what we do here. You know, come on up, Candace. You got to follow that. All right, here's Candace, first female, duly noted. All right, now. All right, go. Knock 'em dead.
My poem does not mention nipple drops. Sorry. The title is still in working, but I'm going to call it Reflections on Lying on the Concrete at 3 a.m. on a Saturday. Industrial illusions cloud my creative constitutions and condense my mind. Concrete castles kept guarded by mall cops and red cabs keep me suspicious of this reality that we are all acting in. Only bursts of sound from drunken bar patrons keep me awake on nights where tequila takes me home or rum offers me a ride. I can't stand strangers on nights like this. Too kind, thorough, good, and too easy to take advantage of and blurt out their life stories within an hour. A brotherhood of binge-drinking buffoons buying fifths of captains who pilot ships across the world while we take our share in his loot. We lie heads spinning and talk of future endeavors that we will face head-on once the room stands still. Isn't everything just great the way it is on nights like this, where every person we see is our new best friend and games of Would You Rather retain their fun for hours? What is trying to be accomplished with money aspirations that force us into chain restaurant cooks or computer specialists? Sure, there is a passion in that, but on nights like this, those passions do not come out to play the pipes that we have sounded to the call for more beer.
Yeah.
The blithering sounds of our small talk as we all skip merrily on to the liquor store down the street. I guess we must work to afford to play our parts in the bar and the streets. Because it is on nights like this that we can truly feel something for ourselves, even when sitting in parking structures, solitarily intoxicated, and writing poems no one should ever read.
I remember a parking structure or two. Does everyone here have a good drunk parking structure store?
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those in the United States of America, man. I mean, they don't get that in some parts of the world. Parking structure, top level, please, with the open sky above me and a seemingly endless supply of cheap alcohol. Bless it, bless it.
Bless.
Amen, sister. That's right. Porcupine.
Oh, right.
Come on up here. Yeah. Brett, breathe.
I'm sorry if this is a bit too sad or depressing or intense for you, but I mean, I'm tired of screaming at the night. I mean, that's how everyone else fixes the world, right? Just scream at it and cry. But in truth, I just want a better plot line. I want a better story. I wish the world was like movies, where it was scripted, where I didn't have to come up with my own lines and my own scripts and my own plots and my own characters. And we could actually just be interesting people and have interesting lives and drive fast and fuck women and be awesome. But in truth, that's not how the world works. And, you know, it may be a factor of that I believe that I'm a 54 Bel Air driving down the street to awesome, sweet, hot rod of your life, pumped up and pimped. But in truth, I'm just a wrecked caddy that's destroyed, disgusting, and horrible. And, you know, that's pretty sad, but I'm pretty pimping myself because I drive my ride like I want to. And you know what? Here's a little twist for you. I am sitting here quietly talking to your audience, trying to breathe, trying to stay calm, trying not to scream at you so you can actually hear me. And that's making a bigger difference than just screaming at darkness for me.
Ah, the diversity of the human voice and heart. Joyous. Andrew, come up here. Get up here, Andrew. All right.
What's up, dudes?
Sup?
So this is Cain's rendition of early Genesis after killing his brother Abel.
What?
After the killing of my brother spilling, the first bleeding, glistening morbidity, I wrote this poetry and rehearsed it in my mind, saying, if perchance the gods and goddesses are forgiving, then I may well go living, sinning, and rebutting against their dictates performing, blasphemies prostrate to create a clean slate giving, deity opportunity to show mercy at indignity, if it is indeed indignity to glory in processions of disobedience reckoning, myself a human, in the likeness of a god naming man Adam, who eating from forbidden fruity realization suddenly awakened with eyes wide open that hence were yet unopened. Blind to thinking like the gods that he was worshiping, the serpent was not lying when it said that God was lying, that disobeying shall not produce dying this day, but you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil, discriminating between dichotomies, hence unknown primeval, the umbilical cord between divine and us unbroken, in biblical narration from creation to fall to eschaton to new creation, when all becomes the one and one becomes the all, but in the drama in between it is only rational for mind to ask, what is missing? That this fruit I should not grasp and clasp and fill my senses with the fragrance of its sweetest musk, crossing the line fashioned by the gods to see how much can be known by forsaking duty to authorities. So he did not die that day, but went a surviving as the mythos unfolds for some 900 years, I'm told, and I have not yet fallen prey to the lightning strike of holy deity, enraged at his plight to fight against an uncouth soul, unmoved by threats or pretense for control. By governors or provinces I happen to be in, and customs that define the canon of appropriate lives to live. Merry on my way, I do what gets called righteousness and do what gets called sin, finding each an occasion for oblation and wallowing in this new gnosis, oasis, fully elevating my prognosis. I stand at the vantage of Mount Olympus and Mount Sinai, observing the arguing and petty fighting over which humans deserve to live and which deserve to die. Well, fickle. This cartoon of creators to make this potential and forbid the actual. Why not think twice about the seditious tree sitting there alongside the tree of life, to be wondered at every day as the couple sits and eats from subservience? The curiosity for indolence grows right next to them. And why make a wily creature as that serpent to feature questions God did not or cannot answer so eloquently, if not to say that the desire of the gods that we should heed them is illusory? It is the Trinity beckoning with every beck and call for following the status quo to come join the family by saying, no, my will be done, you archaic, bloodlust-driven, chauvinistic brethren. If you wanted my compliance, why concoct reverse psychology? Why tighten the chains and give me the ability to break them and take the reins to govern my soul if you reign, a sovereign to feign, praise and not disdain to forevermore, or set a door before me that states, do not open, when I know what lies on the other side is also your creation. If you are the painters and I am the painted, I'm just learning and expanding on the canvas of colors you have tainted. You painted a whole world outside of Eden, and as nice as Eden is, the deserts unconfined are nicer. Innocence, unexamined ignorance, petty and unworthy of nostalgia when departing from the pack with this mark on my head and this pack on my back, dubbed a nomad to explore the land. God said, for PR purposes, he put it there to curse me, but whispered in my ear what he had made me. A wizard, like Harry Potter and Voldemort, superseding Adam. Now this is a reward. Now go, learn my craft, make something to shaft all my angels and demons and people in astonishment at what can be done when freedom is won. So son, have fun. But don't tell everyone about this freedom, or you won't be so free yourself. We need sheep to bat idly to accommodate those who see no need for sacrifice, but place each choice on the altar, burning incense to the nostrils of a god intense, hiding his intents in facades of diversions, masquerading as commandments. Each statement not to partake a whisper from the Holy Spirit. Your will be done, second to none. You were made to create, not follow dictates, so do what you will and locate your fill in the heart of your kill. Forsaking the till of labor so dull till I come in the clouds and give you your fill. Forgiving you would only add insult to injury, to imply my purposes were thwarted by your liberty. Remember, whatever you contribute, at least make it a good story to have a Bible written around it or something. Indeed, if we wanted you to behave slavishly, why would we concoct reverse psychology?
Yeah, well, Cain's interesting, you know? Quite a character. And Eve was framed. Think about that. That's what I'm talking about. Think about it. They're sitting there. You eat the apple first. You get knowledge. What's the first thing you do? She did it. Yeah. That's how it happened. Yeah, probably. In my mind. In my mind. Phil, come on up here and tantalize the people with your delicious dose of poetry.
A manic cold hunger. 1. I have seen them, watched them, an indecent voyeur of snuffed poets, filmed in consciousness. Their skins curl as they age, their voices crumble slowly, the fire sidelined in the factory mills of universities, aged, old and wise and weathered and gorgeous. I want to take their ashes and plant them inside me. I want to swallow them in gel caps in a glass of water, take the bits of char and freebase their bones, suckle their tender brains, or perhaps hot glue them onto my own to make a towering, layered mega brain, download their experiences onto the console lengths of my own gray mass and release the quaverings of their throat cords of my own frayed pharynx. I want to suckle their marrow and post the fetish videos of my hot webcam broadcast, my legs spread about me in stoic yogic poses, a manic called hunger, a manacled hunger, a hunger so vivacious as to look left, look right, and plunge. 2. I have beaten the strong ones and the cancerous ones. I have beaten and eaten and taken within me the practice of the poet, the practice of the prepared dinner feastings, yet I will not be the bone in your stew, poets of yore. Poets of yore, will you unite to form one monolithic Voltronic head? Yes, I am the new Voltron. I will form the head. The head will be groomed and formed and fully functioning without beginning, without layers, but layered like that cake of you, poets of yore. Brandished and brightened and anchored and dreamed in these days of eyeballed ecstasy. Yes, names, meaning, sounds, words, work, language, all are nothing in this hazy, rarefied feast of non-aggressive, long-tongued fork lashings of underarm louts and liver-filled pain gains, and who will echo later? Yes. We need rhythms and intergangs and gang-banged hanging fans, and you might say, I am not amused, but when was amusement requisite for the feast? Have I not feasted and festered in yesterday the lesser gods of language with simplified tendencies, a rector without a table to tie students down, an anchor without a chain or boat, a turntable without spreadsheet columns, dates, or recent rows of renown to kindle, the flint that has no spark, the light that has no surface, the just in case that popped last night amidst much cackling and endeavor. 3. Now I cannot hope to believe more strongly in the poets of yore. Now I can't hope to become more than an intrepid explorer in the pile, the compost heap of meaning we have endured, and the canceling, the furthering of amnesia, the layers of shit and goo, the thoughts like buttons to press, the hyperlinks of mania, my friends of the cloth. My lovers in this shit-fuck garden, here we all are, listening for more genius, ready to call someone else to defend the work we enjoy, that we strive so desperately to tempt and tease into meaning without denotation. Where can we go when all we have is connotation, and denotation has been wrung from our bones, so that no essential claim ever can be proven? Never has fashionable polygamy been so tame. We are the tamed ones. We are the monocled ones, the glass joes of the Western world, the Western work machine, the lazy Susans, the rows of couched potatoes. We are not in the midst of the end times. Somehow they have been taken away from us. The angelic poets, and now all we have is the coursing brew of their leavings. Drink up, my generation. Drink up. 4. We are no more youth than a basket of leaves. We are no more truth than a locked knee. Under the scope of resident XYZ, we layer the level, look to the now for the future, now replayed, now lessened, now ingrates, now laying eggs, now lessened, now rosy-cheeked lovers of liver. Dine on us, poets of yore. Dine on us. Stick it in us and release. Symbolism is dead. All we have now are meta symbols, and soon they will be replayed in with more than meta popping ever farther in the mind. Ovary, the mind, intention is a quasi-whore. A life-licking licorice ovary. I am the ovary. I am the grief installed into the plank-shorn depths of stickered bumperings. If there were anything more to learn in the world about ovaries, I would learn it, but there is nothing there. Nothing in the Q side to consider more than a monarchy, more than the optioned opinions. I have plenty of luck in this left-home world, so much more luck than the tidy tongues of standard practices. Writhe, my tidings, writhe and cling to the left brain, cling to the right brain, now cling. I have lusted in lengthwise claims. I have yondered the poor, yondered the yore, yondered the pondered the plains, cold speakeasy damn.
Yeah.
Last remaining commandment, be brief and tempted. Thank you.
So I'm sitting back there in the corner, leaning on the pool table, listening to Phil, and I see that someone has meticulously set every one of the 4 counters, you know, which you keep score on the pool table with. All 4 of them read 69. Good job, whoever did that. I never would have thought of that. All right, last point of the night. Karen, come on up, girl. Yep. My lover, my dear, my Karen. My lover, my dear, my Karen. What are you going to do for us tonight, Karen? We never know, right? Go for it.
Hi.
Laugh, dance.
Yeah.
Love.
That should be the case, and maybe it is deep down inside. I'd like to ask for a theme. If anyone could give me a theme tonight, because,
Fucking.
Fucking?
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
Compassion.
Fucking and
Fucking
resurrection.
resurrection. Okay.
Energy.
Energy. Okay, let me put something together for you. Let's see.
Unit. Vagina.
Vagina?
Fucking
Oh, that's a
vaginas.
good one.
An ode to the vagina.
Okay, I'll try and work on that one. You say I'm a woman. I look like one, I suppose. Underneath my clothes, I dress my body as female. But it seems to me I'm lacking the energy to be that of which I am, to express this womb and this burnt-out ovary place and this clitoris that isn't used, and I wonder, why am I a woman? Am I imitation of a man? No, not quite. But yet, I am female. Probably I could say that I was a very sexual one at once, and I was a very explicit sexual being. I had the chutzpah of the universe. I had the energy of my ovaries working, evolving into some sort of being that seemed to be misplaced at times and was shoved in a corner and forgotten for so many years. But this orifice, this thing that they call a vagina, it is a special place indeed. And it's not an echo chamber, although I profess it to be. I seem to take an illusionary measure with it and ignore it a lot. But in truth, the longing of that special female place within me, that place that actually should be celebrated, and I have been told it's a treasure trove of pleasure, and I have not forsaken it. She's my friend, my vagina and I. I should treat her kindly like I do my breasts. I touch my breasts often. I do touch my secret friend. I should play with my secret friend. Tell her that I love her. Tell her that she's a wonderful person. Her furry patch. Well, once an enormous furry patch, sparser now by time. I mean, I can't actually say that she isn't a kind person, that she isn't a loving person, that she isn't actually a fantastic person. That clitoris and that womb of mine, I have used her, and sometimes I've abused her. Long ago, when men were involved, it was not a place of pleasure. But then when I came out as a lesbian, it was exactly the exquisite playground of everything. And it's connected to my soul, my vagina and I. She is actually an energy source for who I am. And although I've forgotten who she was, although I treat her like a stranger a lot of times, I'm going to buy her a present in the near future. I'm going to buy her a nice little
Okay, wait, that's good.
Okay.
I celebrate your vagina with you, Karen. I celebrate all your vaginas. I celebrate every part of every person in this room because you've made this another awesome night at Cush in Eugene, Oregon. We went from the height of the peak of the pinnacle to the trough of the vessel. Yeah, that's right. So go, be good, have fun, be safe, and live your life well, however you define it.